Liberia is poor by design. It has been that way for a very long time, and they intend to keep it that way. Why? The answer is so simple it can be narrowed down to a singular word: profit. Your next question should then be, who are the beneficiaries to this profit? The answer to that question is also a very simple one. Your political leaders, lawmakers, and their national and international criminals business partners are the only beneficiaries. A poor, underdeveloped, and broken Liberia is more profitable to them than a well-developed, educated, strong, and vigilant Liberia. Listen carefully, because this ought to be properly understood. After tribalism and the fight for power destroyed, dismantled, and crippled Liberia's economy through a brutal and unforgettable civil war, political vultures saw a golden opportunity and took it. Now, some of you may be wondering, what is golden about a poor country with a broken economy? Things that are not visible to the naked eyes are clearly visible to the political eyes, especially the eyes of the political vultures, mafias, and hyenas. You know, those opportunists we call our lawmakers. A typical Liberian living in Liberia sees the country as poor and economically crippled. His perspective is not wrong. I mean, he is unemployed, his friends and family are unemployed due to the lack of jobs, he is unable to finance his education or that of his children, he has no access to medical treatment or a reputable hospital during the time of sickness, and even if he does find a hospital, he simply cannot afford it. This is emphatically the reality of 80% of people, if not more, living in Liberia. Now, let's answer the question of how this is a golden goose for politicians. Keeping the country in the dark, both literally and figuratively, is essential to their plans. It makes stealing a lot easier for them. It's almost like taking a candy from a baby. Allow me to paint a picture giving you this analogy. Imagine a blind old lady who lives in a zinc round with two young children who helps her get around. Due to the old lady's condition, people constantly donate lots of foods, drinks, and money and gifts. Enough resources to sustain her and the children with her. Then criminals receive information that this house is full of resources and is literally a sitting duck. What are the chances of success should the criminals plan a robbery? You guessed it right. It's undoubtedly an easy win for the criminals every time. But what if the house was made of concrete, placed in compound walls with barbed wires on the top of the walls, two muscular and vicious pit bulls in the yard, along with security guards fully armed, and of course security cameras too everywhere? Now, what are the chances of those criminals' mission being a success? That's right, not even possible. This is the problem with Liberia. The citizens are the old lady that lives in that zinc round, and the government wants it to stay that way. Developing the country to be strong, vigilant, educated, and empowered is against any corrupt government's interest, and I have mentioned why it's counterproductive to the den of thieves. It's a lot easier to exploit a country full of hungry, sick, ill-educated masses because they do not have the strength, the stamina, and are not intellectually equipped and informed to hold the government accountable for their criminality. Simply holding up signposts that read "End corruption" is just as good as Moses telling the Pharaoh to let the children of Israel go willingly. Not going to happen. Your oppressor is not going to just willingly stop oppressing you. If you believe that, then it's time that you relocate from Fantasy Avenue to Reality Boulevard. The only thing that the government is willing to do is the bare minimum. Just enough to take pictures and videos with the right and perfect angles, footages that will be incredibly beneficial when lobbying for more money as they attend meetings with foreign aides. Every year, millions and millions of dollars flows into Liberia from just foreign aid alone. And I won't even mention the selling of Liberia's resources such as iron ore, timber, rubber, diamond, gold, lead, palm oil, cocoa, and many other minerals. But for some reason, there is always a colossal amount of budget deficit. Why? How? I mean, why wouldn't there be a budget deficit? You take one senator, you give him 15,325 US dollars every month, plus 29,700 Liberian dollar as basic salary. That's not all. You add an additional 3,175 US dollars for transportation reimbursement. Yet the list goes on. You give him another 2,150 US dollars cash for gasoline. I wouldn't even get into the, five-finger discount. I mean, those guys are so good at stealing, they're even starting to use their toes now. So yes, while there's a budget deficit for the Liberian people, there is a budget surplus in the pocket of your lawmakers, your so-called lawmakers. Liberia is poor by design, and the government is going to do everything in their power to keep it that way. Now, before I go, let me leave you with this food of thoughts. Change does not happen by simply wishing for it, and this ought to be properly understood. Change comes because there are people who want change, and those people are willing to do things that will stimulate the change that they so desire. Those people comes together in the masses. 1 becomes 2, 2 becomes 4, 4 becomes 8, 8 becomes 16, and so on. My name is Jorgen Juty Geleplay, and I hail from River G County, Liberia. Thank you for your time.